All right, so we're just going to get into it, and then we'll talk magic and comics and the documentary and
everything.
We'll see wherever roads it takes us.
Excellent.
Beaming from Pacific Junction Hotel to Earth, Girth.
So welcome to Toronto.
Oh, thanks, man. I really like it here. This is a really great town. Like, I've been to Canada a bunch of times, but never Toronto. So,
whereabouts in Canada have you kind of checked out?
I was in Calgary. I was in Edmonton a few times. I was in.
Those are good nerd hubs too, though.
They're really, really good. Yeah, I did a Fringe tour, and then I was around for stuff related to the Montreal Comedy Festival. So I was up there, and then I was in Victoria, right? Mm-hmm. And then what's the island? The little island?
Vancouver Island?
Vancouver Island, yeah, I was there. So yeah, it was that's what I've seen so far. But this is great. This is an amazing town.
Yeah, BC is kind of like our nature. Like it's all got all the trees and it's a very green province and like Toronto's kind of more like New Yorkish, I guess, kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah, more city and like but still very green and still kind of
far more European influenced as far as like architecture. It's like it's an interesting mashup of European architecture and like again that sort of New York urban look. So yeah, it's really I love it. It's awesome.
You do a lot of traveling for your magic gig. Is there kind of like
my magic gig?
Your magic gig.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the best way to put it?
I don't know if it's the best way to put it, but it is a way to put it. And traveling, doing my shows and lecturing, and then and other things I do. So consulting and directing and things.
Yeah. All right. There you go.
Yeah, you're right. My magic thing. You're right. You're right the first time.
Okay. You're going to give it to me? All right. That I had to fight hard for that one.
No, you were. Yeah, that's done. Yeah.
Okay. Magic gig.
Yeah.
I don't know all the lingos and stuff like that. So
it's fair, man. So yeah, I do a lot of traveling. I've been really lucky that I'm being able to travel, just be around the world, with a deck of cards and hang out and see amazing stuff. So yeah, it's been really cool.
That's what I was asking. So like, as you do your magic gig, like, do you find that there is any sort of similarities with the audience or like?
Oh, I mean,
commonalities.
Well, sure. I mean, there's definitely people. I think without stereotyping people or anything like that, I think there definitely is different magic cultures in different countries, and people react to magic in different ways based on so many different aspects of things. And whether it be socioeconomical, whether it's culture, religion plays a factor into it. There are people who in the United States who I worked at Disney, and when they saw that I was going to do magic, they would get upset. And they said that this is wrong, evil thing. And I was doing Satan's work or whatever.
Take your voodoo and hit the road.
Right, exactly. Even though it was card tricks and nothing, like that. And then there's people who genuinely want to believe that as many times as I tell them, no, these are just card tricks and we're having fun. No, I know you have to say that, but I know you're really real. That kind of thing. And then there's people who are almost the opposite of that, challenging every single thing. No, that's fake. This is wrong. So it just depends, on where you are, what's going, what you're doing. I would say that probably the most just for overall amaze factor. When you do magic in Japan, they just get so excited and so amazed. They just so happy that you're doing things like that. And in contrast, when you're in England, they're like, "Oh, that was good." They still like it, but it's like the exact opposite.
Stiff upper lip.
Yeah, just stiff upper lip, exactly. So it's fun. It's neat to see that kind of the culture, how magic is perceived, how you would make a living in each country doing it. I mean, the way you would do it in England. How you make a living is completely different than how you would do it in America. It would be totally different as you would do it in Australia, so on and so forth. It's interesting to see how magicians themselves get around, do things, and do their shows,
do their magic gig.
Yeah, do their magig gig. Yeah, this phrase that you've coined, that is really, really good.
All right, you can take it back to the Magic Castle.
I will bring it back to the Magic Castle. Tell everyone we're doing a magic gig.
You bring up a point, which is how magicians operate and make a living across different countries and different cultures and stuff. And that kind of is really the theme of your documentary.
Yeah,
right?
The documentary I'm in. I want to be very clear that I am merely a subject, and it's Marcy and Christoph who have put their heart and soul into actually creating it. But yeah, I think the documentary, I've seen it now 3 times, really shows, and it's probably the first film that really shows what it's like to do this for a living, what sacrifices you make, what decisions you have to do, what your day-to-day is like if you decide, yeah, I'm going to do card tricks for a living, what that's going to be. And that in itself is, I think, kind of interesting. It's really a movie about not how magic works, but why it works, and why people decide to do it, and really how they're able to make a living doing it. Not really how the tricks work.
Yeah, I find it really interesting because the whole thing, like you said when you were talking about magic, is that a lot of people like, I want to know how you did that, or like you did it this way or that way, and there's all these different theories. But what's cool about the documentary is that it kind of goes back and like the access that they were able to have and to see the magicians. So you're actually getting a reveal of the magicians, not the magic, if that makes sense.
Right.
And so that was kind of neat just to see that window and see how you guys operate. And then you're all in various stages of your career too.
Yeah, definitely. And in different ways, because when it comes to a guy like, say, Brian is, he'd hate me saying this, is older than me, and he's been there. He was Johnny Carson's favorite magician. Johnny Carson was off the air as a performer before I ever got into my professional career. You know what I mean? So it's a completely different era, and then him sort of like writing what it would be like to get back in, get back up on top. And David's a completely different guy. I specialize more in comedy type stuff. I'm very varied in what I do. I do a lot of card magic, but it's still I perform on stage a lot, and I perform in different venues. Whereas David Minkin is far more of a close-up magician. Contrast is it really concentrates on that and does magic and all different types of stuff. And so him having to like sort of come out with his own venues and go what he's trying to do, and and his pursuit was to do TV and to be sort of more famous. And then a guy like Jon, who is just a stage illusionist. When most people think of as a magician, he's that guy.
Swords and flames.
Swords and flames and dancing girls.
Right.
And he's doing a show in Vegas. He's trying to compete in an extremely competitive market, and that's interesting. I think that's interesting. And this is probably the first film that's really shown that there's an entire submarket that of magicians who lecture to other magicians. And bring and really try to, and when I say other magicians, I mean magic hobbyists, magic enthusiasts, people who sort of do it as a part-time pro, or they're just do it for their grandkids or whatever. And that's a huge market where you can actually sell and make a living just lecturing and being on the road, which is something I do all the time. So
let's get into your, I guess, origin story, for lack of a better term.
Okay, my origin story. I love that.
Yeah,
comic book references already.
What came first was, because you are, even in the film, you talk about being a geek and kind of growing up with comic books and things like that. So what came first, comic books or the magic for you?
Comics came first. Comics were the way that I was able to enjoy reading. I am dyslexic, and it's probably linked to sort of more like ADD type stuff. And because of that, reading normal books really hard. Pages would swirl, things would I couldn't do it, and I have to add concentration. But when I discovered comics, the pictures and the small word bubbles and balloons and such were easy for me to digest. And then I could then pick that up, and then I could like anchor myself in the story, and like I had the visual of the art to sort of guide me, so then I can enjoy reading, because otherwise reading was an incredible chore, and that's really that started there. And then as far as in the books I was reading, I was always a Batman guy.
High five for Batman.
High five for Batman, man.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like I was really a DC guy for years, because I didn't like the ingratitude of the Marvel Universe. And let me explain to you what I mean by that.
Break it down, because this is getting heavy now.
Okay, because I always liked the idea that people liked superheroes. I didn't think they had to always trust superheroes, but I liked the idea that for the most part, people accepted superheroes in their everyday life. That like Superman saves the cat out of the tree, Superman saves the day, Batman, saves the city, whatever, and everyone's happy. Yay, Batman, yay, Superman. Right. I was okay with that. Like, I wanted that. Whereas in the Marvel Universe, the X-Men would save something and they would go, I hate you, mutant. Stupid mutant, or like,
Spider-Man menace.
Yeah, Spider-Man, you're a menace.
Right.
And that was more like, I was almost tolerable because it was the idea that some people liked him, some people didn't like him, that kind of thing. But like everyone just universally hating mutants for no reason. Like this person with powers is totally okay.
Yeah.
But this person with powers, because they're a mutant, bad.
Yeah.
Like I just thought that was incredibly, like, just, come on, they're helping you. Be nice to them.
Yeah.
What is your problem?
Yeah.
So that's what I really didn't get into the Marvel Universe when I was a kid, but now it's almost the opposite. Like I read so much more Marvel when it comes to mainstream books. I read a lot of non-mainstream books, but when it comes to mainstream books, I read so much more Marvel, and that's really because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah,
I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're great stuff, and the Captain America, not the Captain America necessarily from the comics and the history of the comics, but the Captain America of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Genuinely one of my favorite characters. So I like the idea of a man out of time, a man completely displaced from his life. He, but yet still is trying to do the right thing. Like I think that's a really, really great premise. So Batman and Marvel Captain America are my two favorite characters. Which if you think about it, what? Like that is two weird
that's
contrasts.
Light and day, yeah.
That is light and night and day. But that's it. And then as far as the magic goes, like I grew up in Orlando. Cultural center of the world, as I always call it. When I grew up in Orlando, on theme parks and Disney and stuff. And
Florida's a weird place.
It's a weird place.
Like, nobody's been to Florida. It's got like it is. You're actually accurate. There's a mishmash of cultures and like
it's a bizarre. It's a bizarre. Well, mostly because in Orlando, like Florida itself, the entire state. You can't categorize it as one thing. The Panhandle is basically lower Alabama, It's like the redneck Riviera.
Yeah.
It's essentially what that is, And then you go down a little further, and then that's what I call the liberal South. And that's basically the I-4 corridor, Tampa, Orlando, Daytona Beach. That middle section that's why that state has turned blue at certain times, because of the middle. And then down below, you have the Fort Lauderdale, which is God's waiting room, it's basically what's going on there. It's just really old retirees from up north, and then then Miami, which is Upper Cuba, and it's a huge Cuban population, very an amazing culture.
Very Vegas-like too.
And very nightlifey, and like out there, and all beach related. Very, very, it's the tropics, and then Key West, which is like an alien planet.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre, that town. And all great. Like I love all those places in a lot of ways. But I grew up in Orlando. So I grew up like in essentially where, it was theme parks. It was Disney and Universal and SeaWorld, and that's what I saw. So I saw magicians in those theme parks. And I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to do that. And I just was really captured by it. And I was lucky enough that my mentor, who still performs at Disney to this day, 27 years later.
It's amazing.
Yeah, right. Does his show, has done more magic. I calculate that he has done more magic than any person on the planet, because he has done 5 to 6 shows a day, 5 to 6 days a week for the last 27 years.
That's surreal.
Right?
That's crazy. That's
amazing.
That's a lot of magic.
That's a lot of magic.
That's a lot of deck of cards and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and he's good too. He's great, and totally an amazing teacher. His name's Terry Ward, and Terry was my not only one of my inspirations, but my mentor. And because of that, I was able to sort of develop my stuff, and he sort of guided me. It still does. I still talk to him on a regular basis, and.
You gave him a shout out too in your comic book.
Right, yeah, I named our lead character after him.
Yeah. In, Smoke and Mirrors, an IDW book. But I wanna go back to the nerd thing for a second.
Sure, man.
So in the documentary, you talk about now you had reached a certain point where you decided to kind of take ownership of it.
Yeah.
Like of being a nerd, of being a geek. I think you used the word geek. And there is kind of like I think there was, and you mentioned too, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Really, before all that kind of exploded, there was kind of like a loneliness or stereotype kind of associated with nerdery, and then to combine that with magic, it must make it even more lonely. Is that accurate?
I think so. I mean, my three passions in life are comics, magic, and theme parks. I mean, like really, it's pretty sad. It's like it boils right down to it.
Yeah.
But
you're not getting invited to a lot of parties,
yeah,
are
you're
you?
not getting invited to a lot of parties. I was not. I mean, I was lucky enough that I went for the last couple of years. I went to sort of like I did like the performing arts magnet in my school, and so because of that. Like I was around other dorks. So I was king dork. I was the president of my drama thespian club and things like that. I was king dork.
Yeah.
But so it was okay. Like it was tolerable. But before that, man, like growing up and being dyslexic, but also sort of, I guess, being smart and dyslexic, which is like this weird, terrible combo. And
this is before we had all startup culture too. So like,
yeah. There's a lot of that stuff. There wasn't anything like that, man. I grew up basically in the late '80s, early '90s. That was my 40. Jeez. Yeah. But and then I spent like a lot of time, just in my room because I just don't want to go around. I didn't want to be outside. I didn't want to be, around these kids who were beating me up, essentially.
Yes.
And
it's hard to pass up. Like,
yeah, it's
a comic book magic nerd. Like,
yeah, I was there. And then I mean, I didn't have my first kiss until like I was like 13. I wasn't around anybody like or anything. And the only time I had this is funny about the first kiss is that I was a girl that I met because we used to go out to the Disney parks all the time, and we were there, and she had no idea that at school I was hated and this tortured nerd. She thought, oh, he's a cute, nice kid, and that was that. And so there I was nice, and everywhere else, everyone hated me. Like it was, so weird because I just and I learned very quickly that I would hide that stuff. That like if I didn't tell anybody that I was in this stuff, then they left me alone. And then now it's so insane that like that has become everything. Target has shirts with like Superman on it, man. Like you get, like all that. It's to be completely honest, I'm a little sad. Like I'm happy that this is going. I'm glad there's a kind of industry, but at the same time, it's like, man, come on.
In a weird way, you've become mainstream.
Yeah, I've become mainstream.
Yeah.
I feel like you
lost your edge.
We've sold out, but we didn't get any money.
That's sad when you put it that way.
It's so sad, but. I look. I'm just glad people are more accepting. I think that's a good thing in general. So,
you talk about how you met your mentor, Sam, doing all the magic and stuff at all the different theme parks and stuff. Mm-hmm. Why was it something that you wanted to kind of persist doing it? Because a lot of kids, they have interest in like music or something like that, and then they kind of just drop it after a bit. Like why persist? I get why you'd want to like do it because it looks cool.
Yeah, it is more about, but it was less about wanting to look cool or be cool, and more about that this was just it consumed me, like it was genuinely what I spent my time thinking about at all times, and it was what I could not think of anything else. Like, and in my mind, and I would say this all the time. My goal is to be a professional magician. Thus, I can have no other goals. All my attention needs to be focused, and I can't have a fallback plan, because if I have a fallback plan, I can fall back. I have to go forward. I have to do this. This is what I'm going to do, and everything is going to be concentrated on this goal. So that's really what it came for me. Like,
it's just kind of weird, because it's like there is no linear path. Like if you want to be a lawyer, you go to law school, and then you article, and then you know what I mean, there's like these steps, and then suddenly after a certain point you pass the bar, then you're a lawyer. With magic, is there a linear kind of chronological?
I think I got in on the tail end before the internet age of when magic was genuinely an apprenticeship trade, where my mentor taught me this particular amount of magic, taught me how to learn magic, loaned me books, introduced me to other magicians where I could learn more, and really apprenticed me to get me to a certain state and then let me go free in the world. I don't think that happens that much anymore. In fact, I don't think it happens at all anymore. I think most people learn magic or they get into magic from the internet or from YouTube, exactly. And they get into, and that's probably not the best source, to be honest, of how to do this. But for me, I had someone that was guiding me, who was curating and saying to me, okay, this is a good thing for you to learn. This is something where these particular effects are smart. This would fit your set of who I think you are and what you're doing. Here are some other skills that are not necessarily magic that will help you. Like he made me take drama. Like I said, I did theater and drama, speech and debate. He made me do that. Stuff that was going to get me in a better place as far as being able to speak. I can look at anybody in the eye when I was a little kid, and getting me to the better place of being comfortable with myself and everything else. So he really guided me. So that's really the path. I think that is to have a mentor, and mentorship in magic, true mentorship in magic, really needs to be re-explored, because then hopefully we can have far better, far more rounded magicians. Not just know how to do these 5 tricks, but also learn how to learn more, and also learn how to create more, so we can actually advance the art and move it forward.
When you're starting out as this kid, and then you're being apprenticed, how long does it kind of take you to start developing your personality? Kind of start developing your, like you said, he's teaching you different tricks, and like David Minkin in the documentary, he does a lot of levitation, for example, right? Which is something you don't do.
I do not do it all.
So there's all, like you said, there's these different flavors and variations and things like that. So how do you start to build up your show and your persona and your magicness?
Well, first I think it's like a free for all. I think the way that I did, and the way that maybe is a path to take, is to look at everything there is out there, learn as much as possible, and then decide what you like and what you want to do, and then pursue that. But that first knowledge base of learning what everything is in magic, I think is a strong way to start. For me, though, personality-wise, like my first gig, my first real solid gig, I was 20, and and I got a job performing at the Rose and Crown pub at Epcot, in the Epcot theme park. And I had to be fake English. I had to put on an English accent.
Why?
Right?
Why?
Because I was performing in England. I had to be English.
Yeah.
It was Disney. You had to be. It's the fake accent. So I learned really quick how to do that accent and how to make it work and make it play. And then from there, I created an act that was basically the British version of me, whatever that meant, and decided to do magic that I liked to do, but that I thought supported this character, this British character. And the problem was that then 5 years later, when I decided to leave Disney and I'm going to go out to Vegas and I'm going to do the show in Las Vegas, I didn't want to do the accent anymore. I just wanted to be me. But I had this material that I'd been working on for such a long time. And then when I did the act, the way that I did it in England at the theme park, I was British and everyone loved me and it was funny and it was great. And I would do the exact same way, but without the accent, people just thought I was a jerk. Because the accent, the British accent, man, that totally, that does it for people. That somehow you can get away with being snarky.
Yeah.
And so how could I be sarcastic, which is who I really am? How can I be kind of snarky, but yet not be offensive and not rub people the wrong way? Because already there's an adversarial aspect to magic that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm doing this, I can do this and you can't, ha ha ha. How do you get rid of that? And it took
There's
me a long
con man
time.
aspect to it too.
There is. I mean, you play to that. I mean, I personally, I've avoided, lots of things in magic. Like I've never stolen anything of any person.
Yeah.
And Brian, who does it in the film, he gets a lot of big reaction from it. And I'm sure he would debate me.
When he takes the watches.
Exactly. He steals watches. And then gives them back. I mean, to make sure everyone understand. When I say a watch steal, it's a theatrical thing where you steal a watch and then say, "Here's your watch back."
Yeah. His line is like, "Here's a gift for you," and
you get the free watch.
You get the free watch.
Exactly. So, and don't get me wrong, huge reaction. People remember it, and I get that. But that's not what how I ever wanted to be. I never wanted to come across as a con man or anybody who was going to steal their stuff. I looked at it much like a superhero looks like it. I had a power set. And if you saw Spider-Man just instantly being able to start flying, you'd be like, he can't do that.
Yeah, I know.
That's not right. You know, you've seen like in movies where they kind of screw with the powers of the character, and we all sit there as nerds going, come on, that's not right. That's not canon. You know?
But the civilians are like, that was a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it depends. Yeah. But I think I personally would much rather have people immediately be able to identify what I can do by my power set. So because even though, yes, you get a great reaction stealing a watch, and yes, you get a great reaction floating a ring or whatever it is, I want to do the things that people then know me for, so that I'm not just a magician, a generic magician that can do everything, that I'm Jon Armstrong. And that brand is my superhero. And my superpowers is the power sets that I feel I do, which I feel like I have a supernatural control of playing cards, and that I can do things with cards that people really shouldn't be able to do, and then a few other minor effects that are involved, like stationary supplies, like rubber bands, and that's
What was the one you called it on Saturday night? You did some tricks here on PGH. I think you called the rubber band Herman, or
Herman the rubber band. Yes.
Herman,
yes. Yeah, I did rubber band, and then the rubber band finds the card. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, no, that was super cool.
Thanks.
Thank you for doing some magic.
Oh,
here.
no problem, man. No, I really, it was fun. It's a fun place you got here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, we, I just wanted for people to know exactly what they were getting into, and that I didn't want to be a magician. I wanted to be Jon Armstrong, who can do these really great things. And that was very important to me. So that's where it all kind of came from, for as far as like figuring out what I wanted to do, my branding, the character. The character really, after years of being fake English and having to put on a big character, I realized I'm just going to take these parts of myself that are really who I am, these geeky parts of myself. Because I was, especially in the film, I've lost a lot of weight now, but like if you look at me in the film, like I am white, I am doughy, I'm 75 pounds heavier than I am right now. And that's who I was. I looked in the mirror and like I was not a sex symbol. I shouldn't be, like doing stage illusions, with pretty girls and like fans blowing in my long hair.
Yeah.
So
the ruffled blouse. And
exactly. I can't do any of that stuff. So like I wanted to make sure that I was always coming across as a genuine person, because I think I'm not doing necessarily a genuine thing, because I cannot tell you exactly what I'm doing. I'm purporting what I'm doing is interesting and above average, skill or supernatural skill. It's not supernatural. I don't play anything supernatural, but hyper skill. And that's disingenuous. So I thought it'd be far better for me to be just who I am on stage and off stage, and be as genuine as I possibly could be as a person, so that you were far more interested in this ungenuine thing that I was doing. And that's kind of where it all came from.
It almost sounds like misdirection in a way, does it, or no?
I don't think it's misdirection. Misdirection, is an overused term. Let's start there. And misdirection is varied in so many different ways. There's so many different types of misdirection. That I think is just is probably falls far more under the idea of a presentational ploy. The idea that this person is who is performing for you, and not a character. That you get to know somebody. My goal at every show is for people to come out and want to be my friend. Like when they leave my show, they're like, wow, that guy's great. I'm going to hang out with that guy. And like, that's what I want. And the reason why is, one, I think that's a good feeling to give people. But two, it's marketing. Because if they're leaving the show and they want to be my friend, who do you hire? You hire your friends.
That's true, yeah.
So that's the idea. Like it was a way for me to perpetuate, my business. And most of my clients, the people that hire me for gigs, corporate gigs or shows that I do, they hire me over and over again because I'm professional, I'm easy to work with, and they feel like, I'm going to do a great show, and they think of me as a friend. They think of me, I'm John, their friend.
Yeah.
Who I want to make sure John gets work, and that's a really important thing.
And in terms of branding, then, where along your journey did the tiny plunger come in?
Oh, the tiny plunger.
Because that's part of your branding.
I met Tiny Plunger at a comic book convention, actually.
There we go. Back to
I met him at WonderCon. I was pimping Smoke and Mirrors in the early days, and then there was a table full of like Japanese animation-y stuff, and they had this little plunger thing, and I immediately thought, okay, there's something I can do with this. This is going to be a big thing. And it took a long time to like figure out what the presentation was and really how I was going to do it. And I finally settled upon an idea where I was kind of selling it. Like I was like pitching it as though it was a product. This ridiculous thing.
You're almost like your assistant. Like
exactly. Yeah, I'm letting him. It's a personification of the prop. I'm letting him be the performer, and I am sort of like pitching him as though like a sideshow, like see the amazing headless man, that kind of thing, and like that's kind of what I'm doing, and it really worked for me, and it's a different beat, it's a different rhythm. Than a lot of what I speak of in the other parts of my show. So once I was able to find that rhythm and make it funny, then what I loved about it was that I was able to say these lines that obviously I'd been saying a gajillion times, and then come out of it and talk to the audience directly, and then go back into my little pitch, and then come back. So that I was having this genuine conversation with them at the same time that I was also, quote unquote, pitching this product that I never really sell. I mean, I do kind of sell them, honestly, but that I don't really sell in the show, but that I'm making it the plunger, the hero, and it's to the point now, right, where people see it. These I guess fans of mine. And I bring out the thing, and I'll have half the audience go, "Yay, Tiny Plunger!" And the other half of the crowd's like, "Why are they applauding for the little tiny plunger?" So it's it's kind of fun, and I've been able to be. It's been super successful for me. There is a company in Japan that makes magic toys, and it's called Tenyo, and they are very, very, very famous in Japan. And they occasionally will ask magicians if they can get the rights to things so they can actually have they have a Stars of Magic line for things that they consider to be iconic magic props. And I have my pictures on a Tenyo box with the tiny plunger.
You've made it now.
I license, exactly.
High five for that. If you're making a dent in Japanese culture, then
it was great. I'm really hitting and that's the thing. I had where I'm being very snarky to Marcy in the movie, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking about all the goals that I had as a kid, and I've achieved all my goals, right? Which is just totally me. I mean, it's a very snarky me thing to do. But after that, I've done some other interesting things. Like I've been able to direct some other shows. Like I direct magic shows. I directed two gentlemen, David and Lehman, who are on America's Got Talent and have done very, very well. And I've directed their shows. And then another couple people, like a guy named Nick Paul and another magician named Simon Cornell, who do some really, really great magic. And I've been able to do that. I've been able to direct shows at conventions and work on other projects. I've been able to do more theme park related projects where I've actually created theme park stuff. And
Florida for the win, coming that experience again.
I know, right? Exactly. There's magic right now that's going on in a theme park in Hong Kong. It's the Hong Kong Disney Park, where they're doing tricks that I created for this Mickey and the Magical Book Show, it's called. And it's great. Being able to do all these sort of random things as a kid that I always looked like, I love this stuff. I've been able to work I've been able to work a little bit in each one of my hobbies, which is kind of fun. And then, and magic's always been sort of the way I've been able to get into that.
And how do you like you mentioned, you have all these different activities and things that you kind of do. But how do you need to first build up a show, and then how do you know what's working in a show, what's not working? How do you know how to build up a show so that you have as you kind of moved away from the British and then you start to rebuild kind of the American John is my friend?
Sure, right.
How do you start to know what's working or what to add or what to take away?
It's about audience reaction. I'm very lucky that I was always in places where I could do lots of shows. And you can do lots of shows at the Magic Castle, and you can do lots of shows at Disney, where I would constantly be able to put a new thing out there into the world. And it wasn't getting a reaction. Okay, so is it not getting a reaction? This is sort of in my head, So is it not getting a reaction because this is bad? Is it the trick? Is it the timing? Did I not sell that line? Did I not Did they not see what I was doing? Did that, and I'm sort of dissecting it. So, okay, so now I do it again. I tweak this, and this, and I do it again. Okay, getting better reaction here, but now it's not playing right. So right here, tweak. And you're constantly putting that stuff out there. The only way you can really understand magic is not created in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. You can't, without an audience person there to really get it. You can only go so far. I can practice in a mirror, but then I'm looking down to see how things are looking in a mirror. So that's not good practice.
Right.
I can practice with a video camera, so I film it and then watch it. And that's good. That's a good way to get myself to a practice level. But I will never be on my own without another human being there. I will never be able to know if that completely amazes them.
Right.
If they're going to be sucked into whatever it is that I'm trying to do.
It's like tickling yourself.
It's like tickling myself, right? And that's another documentary at the film festival.
That'd probably be like an after midnight screening or something.
Yes, tickling yourself.
Tickling yourself, yeah. Right. We can talk after we wrap this up.
Yeah, let's not, actually. Let's not talk about that at all.
All right. We'll just let that go.
Okay, good.
So how long does it kind of take you now to master a trick, or once you've developed a new something? Like you said, you had the tiny plunger and you need to stew a little bit on it for a couple of years, but as you start to actually work with cards and things like that, how long does it kind of take you to master a trick? Or is that even a hard...
Why that's a hard question to answer? Because there are some things I still don't know if I've actually mastered. I think a true artist never stops learning. And that the moment I think I am a master at anything is the moment I've died. Is the moment that I have stopped moving forward, the moment that my art has stopped moving forward, that I am no longer generating at my optimum percentage. There is always something to improve. There is always something for me to be able to add, take away, change, tweak something. So I can be very good at something. I make jokes all the time in my show about I'm really good at this. Like I say that, like this is part of my cocky attitude. But I am good at this, but I don't know. Yeah. But I don't know if I am the expert at anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I am the master at anything. Because once again, like the title master magician, like I don't want that title. I just want to be the guy who does something really, really well and just keep doing it. Full, complete mastery of something is something that takes a lifetime, and I think maybe when I hit my 80s, 40 years from now, I can look back and say, okay, here's where I probably hit the peak of what this is, and this is probably as best as this is ever going to be. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to think about that. I want to just keep moving forward.
You mentioned losing a lot of weight.
I did,
and then which is great. But there's the skills and stuff, the discipline that you need to have to create your tricks, to do your tricks, to practice, all that kind of stuff. Does that translate into other areas of your life as well?
I think so. That's interesting you put that. It's funny is I've been dealing with some other issues that I have. Let's just leave it at that. And then
I'm just sticking to the magic and comics.
That's
right
cool,
now.
Betty. No, yeah. but I have. It takes me like a moment to realize, I can do it as long as I put myself into it. I changed almost 40 years of bad eating habits. I changed 40 years of bad workout habits. I changed them. Why? Because I felt I had to do it. Like I had to do it, and I put my mind to it, and there was no plan B. I had to do it.
So it is very similar to what you said about
exactly.
No fallback plan.
No fallback plan, and that's how it was. And I think that's the same thing I'm doing right now in these other issues in my life, where I'm trying to really work out some emotional things that I've had to deal with, and I really sort of focusing on this. There's no fallback plan. This is just what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to live my life, and I can do that. I think my discipline is very disciplined when I put myself in this tunnel-like focus. And then when I don't put myself in that tunnel-like focus, I am all over the place. And I think that's a product of sort of the ADD and the dyslexia, that I am just all over the place. But when I do buckle down and go, like focus, then I
like when Bruce Wayne decided to become Batman and went on that journey.
I will go on the journey, and I will meet Abdul Ducard, and I'm going to train, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, go up on that mountaintop with the monks and
exactly. Like Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, go up and training with the Ancient One.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, going back now to the documentary, I just want to ask, like, why did you choose to be in this documentary? Because obviously there's, like, I know Marcy's hooked up at the Magic Castle, so there was any number of magicians she could have asked and stuff for this, or you could have said no or recommended somebody else. Why did you say yeah?
Why did I say yes? Because I liked Marcy and I liked what she was trying to do, and she, being that she understands magic because she has studied it herself and she's quite scholarly in the art, she spoke my language. She was able to really say to me, not like an outsider, she was able to speak to me saying, here's what we're going to do, and this is the idea, and this is the premise, and this is really what I want to do with it, and speak to me like someone who understands, and not like, oh, you magic guys are so cute, and here's what, no, like she got it. And so right away I was like, all right, I'll do this. And I'll be completely honest, ask Marcy, ask her who the biggest pain in the ass it is to film all these years. She's going to tell you me. Because it's so intrusive, and it's so not necessarily what I would want my day-to-day life to be. People who live on reality shows, how are they doing that? That is insane. But
they were also able to film you at a really difficult time, I guess, too. Like,
I if I would have had any idea.
I know.
Right? But I'm glad. Like, I'm glad it's there. I'm glad it's all out there, and it's a good thing. But yeah, it was super intrusive, and they would just badger me. Please come here to this. Let me film you. Can we find you doing this? And I would relent and let them do that. And I'm really glad, because I'm really glad I'm in the film. But yeah, no, it wasn't an easy thing for me. So I want to make sure they get the credit they deserve. And they deserve huge amounts of credits, mostly for putting up with me.
Well, they also worked on it for 4 years, right? So that's
they've been filming they filmed for a long time.
Yeah,
and that's another thing I would constantly make jokes about. Are we ever going to see this? What is this about?
The magic apocalypse now,
right? And they explained to me, like, well, like most documentary features, they film for years. Any good ones? And I'm like, who cares? I want to see this tomorrow. So, but I'll say one thing, going just a little bit back to my weight loss. They would never let me look at cuts of the film or footage they had made, and which is a smart thing, and I completely agree with that as a decision on them. But I would beg them, hey, you guys have filmed with me performing a lot, and I need new promo material, and that would be free as opposed to me paying for somebody to do it. Can you give me some footage of me performing so that I can use it as promo material? And they did, and they sent me videos, and they helped me out with that. And I would look at these videos, and I would look at myself, and I was like, all right, something's got to change. Because I never really had seen it. You look at a mirror, you're like, oh, he looks the same. It's just, you don't really see it there. But seeing it on the screen and seeing what I was looking like, I was like, wow, okay, that's it. I gotta do something about this, or I'm going to die. I'm a very unhealthy person. So I will say, and I mean this, that movie saved my life. Seeing what I looked like, and then making sure that I was going to be in a far healthier state afterwards. I owe them a lot for putting a highlighter on that for me.
That's really cool. And you referenced that one scene where you are in the hotel bed, and you're just kind of going through the list on your phone of all the things you want. And I think you said you'd written it as a child or something like that, when you were younger.
I imported it into my phone.
And then so you've accomplished quite a bit. Like by that time, you had even filmed that scene, and you'd written it for comic books. The Smoke and Mirrors, what we mentioned, and like. And now you said just now you added to it, doing some theme park stuff and like in Hong Kong and all that stuff. So what is next now for you? What do you hope?
What is next? That is always a great question for me. I think I'm trying to move myself away from a local based economy in Los Angeles to a more international based economy. I've been very lucky that I have found somebody, a relationship in my life, with a woman who is just amazing and someone who I really care about very much. And we have a dog. She has a dog. She has a dog, which means I have a dog.
There's a lot of dogs in the documentary, too.
Which I've never had a dog before, and I never wanted a dog, but now I have a dog, and I love the dog. It's a great dog.
See, magicians and dogs.
Magicians and dogs, man. Dogs in the documentary. So so I have a dog now. And LA is a great place, but I think both of us at one time or another will probably want to move away and find some place that's a little less. Being able to own a house is impossible in Los Angeles, so it'd be great to be able to do something like that. But I still want to perform, so I've been working on doing more like cruise ships and things like that, stuff that I could live anywhere really, and then go and perform just by getting on a plane and going out to the thing, working on a non-local based economy and a more sort of international based economy, traveling more, doing more tours. And her job is such that she can come with me on a lot of things. So it works out really, really well. So yeah, it's good. And that's kind of my thing, is really pursuing that market, putting myself in there. I just finished my terms as the chairman of board of trustees of the Magic Castle. I'm kind of done with magic politics for now, so I'm kind of moving on from that. And I think really my next sort of big goals are producing more magic-based content from the material that I've created, working on other people's shows, directing other shows, directing my friends' shows, and also becoming more of a magic sort of director, which is something I've been really, really into. And then, just working on the cruise ship show and the traveling show, and
any more comic books?
I have a couple things. Me and Costa are retooling the idea of working on some more volumes of Smoke and Mirrors as a Kickstarter type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Costa is a writer on the show Lucifer, the TV show.
Yeah.
And on Fox back in the States. I don't know what it is up here.
Yeah, we have Fox. Yeah.
On Fox up here.
Yeah.
And he's doing a great job of that. And so we want to kind of do a couple things. There's another project that I have that is kind of a Powers project that I've been trying to find an artist for. We're gonna do something hopefully independently. It's the next thing I'm going to publish. Next thing I'm going to pitch at Comic-Con, and then I'm still going to just read a bunch and go to a lot of movies. Like Captain America: Civil War is next week, man.
Yeah.
No, this week. Like
this
2
week.
2 days.
Yeah.
3 days.
3 days. Yeah.
Man, oh boy.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
And then we got the X-Men Apocalypse as well coming up too.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. Like I actually like other people debate me on this, but I love Days of Future Past. I thought it was great.
Yeah, so the first 3 X-Men movies with like they shot back in the day, way back in the day, right? They all shot them here in Ontario, here around in Toronto and
I did
Hamilton.
not know that.
Yeah,
that's great.
And so now, since they've seemed to move the production now to another Canadian city, Montreal, it's for these last 3 movies or the last 2-3 movies. It's gotten better, and I guess that was the trick, just moving them out of the wrong.
Really? Oh, well, that's so strange. I just don't see why that matters. But
yeah.
Okay.
That seems. What are you reading these days, though?
What am I reading? I am reading Saga, which Brian K. Vaughan is. It's how he keeps doing that, man, is amazing. He's so good. Chew is another book I really love.
I haven't gotten to Chew, but I've heard some good things.
It's great.
Yeah.
And it's ending now. So it's a kind of thing where if you started in trades, if you started in trades now, you'd be able to finish the entire series.
Okay.
Really, really, really great stuff. Love that book. Really been reading, I reread all of the Brubaker criminal stuff.
Yeah.
Love Brubaker.
Yeah.
He's so nice. I've actually met him. I've hung out with him. He's a cool dude. He really likes magic. We've talked a bunch of times. He's great. And as far as like capes and tights go, the Marvel all new Marvel stuff for Doctor Strange, it's great.
Yeah.
It's so good. If you've never read a Doctor Strange comic before, which I'll completely admit, I've only read a few things, like The Oath, speaking of Brian K. Vaughan.
But that was a good one too, though.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
But and actually talks about my kind of magic too in it, if you read it. But if you read anything if you've never read Doctor Strange before, if you have no idea what the character is about, if you're like, oh, they're going to make a movie, I wonder what this is going to be. Read this new run of Doctor Strange. It is so good.
Jason Aaron.
Oh yeah, great. DC wise, I mean, you gotta. It looks Scott Snyder.
The Batman run just finished.
Yeah, just finished. Anything
that was a great run, wasn't it?
So
Unbelievable.
Good. A Court of Owls is great. All that stuff was really, really good. But like I said, I have to admit, I don't read as much DC as I used to. It's now mostly just the Bat books. I collect the Bat books still, and I.
Well, after the New 52, Batman still kind of was one of their stronger books, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that book ever waned. And and this new Rebirth thing, I think, is supposed to be reset the counter back onto the. Anyway, who knows? It's too much of this, that, and the other thing. All I know is that I really, really, really like what Scott Snyder did on that run. That's some really, really, really great Bat writing.
Him and Greg too on the art. Greg Pulo. That was a good Batman Robin.
Just got my new black and white statue with Greg. Sorry, that's great.
Nice.
That's great stuff. Yeah, he's great. What else is out there that I really, really love?
With your background, have you read Unwritten?
I have not read Unwritten, but I know of it.
Yeah, I think there's some interesting things in there. I think you should check that out.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's I'll add that to the list. I have to admit I'm on the road a lot now, so I'm constantly reading on my iPad. So that my Comixology and my individual apps that I use for that. And Hellboy.
Hellboy's so much fun.
I still read Hellboy and I still read BPRD. I love that stuff, and they've been doing some really interesting stuff where they've been going back into the history of BPRD with Hellboy and Lobster Johnson. Did you read those?
Yeah.
I love noir. That's fun for me. One of my favorite sort of Elseworlds-esque type book. That Marvel didn't even know they don't call it Elseworlds there, but was Spider-Man Noir. Did you read that?
Yeah.
I love that book.
It was set in the 20s or 30s or something like that.
Yeah, it was Noir. It was 30s, and it was great. And I loved that book. I thought that book was really, 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 really fun.
That was one of the better ones of the Noir. They released about 4 or 5 of those ones, and they were all kind of uneven in terms of
Spider-Man Noir was really great.
Yeah.
I like that book a lot. And then what was the book the New Adventures run? Oh my God. Mark Waid, man.
Yeah.
Mark Waid. That Daredevil run he did was great.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
And I really loved that event. I really loved that Avengers stuff. Loved the premise of that Hulk run he was trying. Remember that?
Yeah, that kind of
didn't go anywhere,
man.
I know. But it could have been so great. But I love the premise. I love the idea is let me do the science, and I'll let the big guy do other things for you. And I thought that was a great premise, and then it didn't go anywhere.
Because Wade too he's like a cup of tea. You can't just put the tea bag in and just drink it right away. You need to let it steep a while, right? There's certain writers. Jonathan Hickman is another one where you just need to let it build and build and build. And even Snyder's run on Batman, you could tell he was
oh yeah, no, he was building all that stuff. I mean, basically, he just took all that Gates from Gotham stuff and sort of moved it forward. It was no. We could talk all day like this.
Yeah, I know. We got to wrap those up because I'm sure you have other things to do.
I have to go now. Do press for the next thing.
Yeah,
but. This is great, man.
Thank you so much, Jon Armstrong, for coming in and just doing some magic too, and the other night. And thank you for the documentary. The documentary is called Magicians: Life in the Impossible. Yeah. And there's a couple more screenings coming up at Hot Docs, hotdocs.ca, and then hopefully it'll either sell or end up on Netflix or one of the. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But yeah, this has been Jon Armstrong and My Summer Lair.